I talked yesterday about 5-MeO DMT, and um, it might have, or quite possibly did, come across like I'm a self-righteous ass that advocates against entheogens or psychedelics or that something of that nature. And certainly that was not my intent. Um, and I'm only saying that because I watched the video after I made it, and I fly by the seat of my pants on every single video. I don't even have notes. I don't, I mean, I suppose that's a good thing. I'm not even saying it's not a bad thing to not use notes, but I follow inspiration, the spirit, etc., etc., etc. So let me give you a little background. I'm a retired firefighter, professional in the second largest fire district or fire department in the state of Oregon. And as an EMT working on a rescue rig or fire engine, fire truck, or what have you for well over, a long career, over 25 years. So I had to live a pretty damn responsible life during that period, wherein that, of course, if I would have partaken in anything of that nature, that would be frowned upon, and no doubt I would have been terminated had I done that during my career. But I've been retired now for 15 years, and prior to and after, I have certainly, shall I say, done my very best to understand the spiritual secrets or things that escape the average person. And I've been on this path my entire life. And so, no, I am not saying that entheogens, look that word up if you don't understand it. But what it is it's a psychedelic that is used in connection with trying to convey a level of spirituality that might be stalled or isn't seemingly going anywhere for someone. And an entheogen can certainly kickstart, so to say. So let me clarify this. I'm not saying you should not use 5-MeO DMT. I'm not saying you shouldn't use LSD. I'm not saying you shouldn't use any of those things. What I am saying is understand exactly what it is and what it's doing. So let me give you, for instance, an idea popped into my head. Let's assume an entheogen or 5-MeO DMT is like gasoline. And so you can spend zero time or you can spend a lifetime building a craft. Let's say it's an airplane. Let's say it's a car. Let's say it's a motorcycle. Whatever it is. The damn thing ain't going anywhere without gasoline. Of course, you can have an electric vehicle, but then your power source would then be electricity. So either way, you have to have some sort of a power source to get the vehicle or whatever it is you built off the ground. Well, that 5-MeO DMT can actually be the propellant to, if you're built a rocket ship, to get you into orbit, for instance. But herein lies the problem. People are advocating on YouTube, and these people have absolutely no moral compass, if you will. Or if they do have a moral compass, they are brainwashed into the notion that non-duality is reflective of reality, which it is absolutely not. It's like non-duality is a low-hanging fruit type belief system based upon the evidence of what your eyes can see and what your intellect can detect. But beyond that, in the spiritual realm, beyond the low-hanging fruit, you transcend non-duality real quickly. And that's just a thing in the past that's in your rearview mirror. So what I'm saying is, if you build a pile of junk, or you just barely get the thing built and it's supposed to be a car, for instance, or let's say it's a rocket ship. You build yourself a damn rocket ship out of balsa wood, and you fill it up with your 5-MeO DMT, which is the most powerful gasoline, rocket fuel, if you will. And then you get in your balsa wood rocket and light it, it's going to explode. Or it'll get you 10 feet off the ground and turn into a ball of fire. And then where are you? I mean, I'm not advocating even fear. I'm only telling you what an entheogen can do for you. It will definitely be a powerful propellant, but what is it propelling? That is what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is, if you spend, I can't even imagine a normal person spending less than 20 or 25 years trying to build the craft before the propellant does really any good. However, in my case, which, you know what, I used the propellant early in my life, but it took me another 25, 35 years before things started to gel. So what I'm saying is, yeah, go ahead and use the entheogen. I think it's a very, very good thing to break the bond that people are. I keep using hand things, and I'm trying to relate reality, and I can't do it in this physical world. But with entheogens, you can do it, so that's kind of hilarious. But what I'm trying to do is let you know that this physical reality, this whole thing, you have to experience it while awake, without anything in you. No entheogens, nothing. You have to actually experience it as what it really is. That it is an illusion, that it is a dream that you did not create, by the way. God created it. And you have to be able to visualize it, feel it, know it to be what it really is. That's what Buddha did. Buddha wasn't taking entheogens when he realized it. And so what I am saying is, but in many cases, if not all cases, trying to or pursuing enlightenment, in most cases, if not all cases, will not result in enlightenment, because enlightenment is typically a byproduct of something else. In Buddha's case, it was a byproduct of, he tried for a decade trying to become enlightened. And at the end, he threw in the towel and said, hell with this. I'm going to sit here until I die then, because I am so frustrated. And then that's when it happened, when he threw in the towel. So during the decade leading to that, yes, indeed, he was building his craft, if you will, his rocket. And then when the rocket fuel was added, the propellant. So in my situation, as well as I would have to guess in 100% of all situations, that the only lasting effect of enlightenment has to be done without any products, medicines, if you want to call it that, without anything present in your system other than a healthy body. That is the only way to have a permanent, lasting, throughout your entire life, reality of enlightenment. When you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night. In your dreams, it doesn't go away. And it only takes once, by the way, because in Buddha's case, as well as mine, when that takes place, it isn't a once and it's like, oh, I remember that for the rest of my life. No, it's once and it's like turning on the light. And the light never goes off. It's ever present. And even in your dreams, you have dreams and you're enlightened in your dreams. It's bizarre beyond any belief. You can open your eyes when you are completely without anything in your body and see, if you will, the same thing you see on 5-MeO-DMT. But I don't know how to explain it. It's just different. But it's present 100% of the time. You don't have the depressions and stuff like that. They talk about eternal bliss and everything. Yeah, it's real. But that doesn't mean that once you become enlightened in that fashion, that you don't feel, I guess, the opposite of bliss would be frustration or depression. Yeah, that's a good word. It's not like you don't feel those, but it's in a different fashion. It's like you feel depressed that your friend cannot share in the joy that you feel, for instance. That's a kind of depression that I'm talking about. It's not the same thing. Anyways, if I left the mistaken impression that I'm a self-righteous ass and that I'm advocating against using 5-MeO-DMT, no, I am not. All I'm saying is that if you go into it with the predisposed and conditioned idea that what you're trying to do is cement the idea that non-duality is real, well, it will become real for you. You create this lie, you create this fake reality, and then it's real to you. You've brainwashed yourself. And then everything you see is slanted in that direction. Rather than, I don't even know if it's possible for people to do what I did, which is have an open mind. Don't slant it towards duality. Don't slant it to non-duality. Don't slant it towards anything. And study and read and fast and do everything within your power to just simply gain truth. And if you do that, and then you just kind of leave things as they are, because you're not capable of understanding what the truth is. You got a physical brain, a physical body that is only capable of understanding what food tastes like and if it's good or bad and if people hate you or don't hate you. The physical body is only capable of certain things. And so when you throw all the information into this and you absorb it from all sources and everything, and it's just ever present in you, but you haven't actually put any of it together. And then maybe you combine that with a entheogen or 5-MeO-DMT or LSD or whatever case may be, and then, or you don't even do that. And then you just think about things and you just allow it to happen organically within your heart, within your soul, within your essence. It may take years, but then that happens on its own. Your physical body, or the physical body that your spirit is inhabiting, so to say, is taking advantage of all the input that's coming into it. That you, by the way, when I say you, I'm not talking to your physical body. I'm talking to your spirit, your essence behind the spirit even. That's what I'm talking to. And that's the thing that needs to force your body, this body. It needs to force it to study. It needs to force it to do things that your essence wants to do. You see, because other people are doing the absolute same thing that I'm expressing for you to do, but in a different fashion. For instance, you've got people that are demonic, for instance, and they have desires, for instance, for doing evil things. Well, to carry out those evil ideas and thoughts, they force their physical body to go out and harm people, to molest children, to rape people, to do all of these sorts of things that they are forcing their physical body to do. It's not the body that's doing that. The body is just a vehicle. That's like saying somebody's Corvette is an evil Corvette because it rammed into somebody. No, the car's a car. It just does what it does. It does what it's told to do. Well, the physical body is the same thing. It does what it's told to do. But a professional race car driver that has spent a whole lot of time learning how to race his car is going to be able to control that vehicle a hell of a lot better than some 5-year-old kid that can just sit behind the wheel and drive it and everything. So you take a person that hasn't spent any time in their life trying to understand what reality is, trying to understand what I'm trying to tell you. They haven't really spent much time. So they get behind the wheel of a powerful sports car, take 5-MeO DMT, which is throwing rocket fuel in the tank. Off they go, 110 miles an hour, 300 miles an hour. I mean, they crash and burn. And I'm not even saying you should fear crashing and burning. Who cares? You die, you're going to be reincarnated. But I say that in a lackadaisical way, but the reason I say it is because I know this reality is illusory. Yeah, I have to stay here until this body gives up the ghost, so to say, until it dies. But I don't want that to happen. I'm having a hell of a time enjoying this life. It's fun. I really enjoy learning and having inspiration come to me. I'm enjoying every day that a new revelation occurs and this and that and everything else. So yeah, it's fun. I don't want to abandon this reality. I don't want this physical body to give up the ghost, so to say. That's why Jesus said your body is your temple. Well, how many people, if you've ever seen a temple, is it a ransacked pile of crap? Of course not. The people that respect the temple, they clean it. They put the finest quality products in it and gold cover things and make sure it's all shiny and everything. Well, that's what you should do. That's what I try to do. I try to eat correctly. I try to exercise. I do yoga. I do everything I can. And that's what you should do. But do that with your spirit also. And then combine that with an entheogen, and maybe that will break the ice for you. Maybe that will help you. But if you pollute your mind with this idiotic non-duality stuff and then expect to become enlightened or expect to meet God, if you will, no, that's never going to happen. No. What you're going to do is you're going to meet yourself. You're going to see your spirit prior to it being born here on this earth, prior to taking on a physical form. And it's eternal. It has never not existed, which is simply why people are taking these entheogens and saying, oh, wow, I met God. No, you haven't met God. You met yourself is what you did, but you don't have a clue what you are. And so consequently, when the medicine or entheogen wears off, you go, wow, I met God. That was bizarre beyond any belief. No, you didn't. You met yourself. Because you think, regardless of how much belief you think you have, you don't have much really, because you're still convinced you're a physical body, even though you're a spiritual person and you practice this and you practice that and you say, yeah, I know the reality's an illusion and I dropped my ego and this and that. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Because when you get off your 5-MeO DMT, you're convinced subconsciously that you are a physical human being when in fact you are not. And when you take that entheogen, you have no control left. You're gone. Zap, boom, gone. You do not have a body anymore because it's disassociated from the body. The entheogen causes the spiritual nature of what you are to, boom, gone. You know, if you know anything about the Bible, Jesus was casting out demons, and in one instance there was a person where he said who's possessed by a legion of demons or people. Well, but the individual had a spirit, and then there were more spirits inside the body. So the body was like a bus carrying around a whole pack of people. No, 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 no. I am not this physical body. This physical body is a temple. A lot of people can be inside of a temple. This temple only has one person. I don't allow anyone else inside this temple. I control this temple. No one else is allowed. No demons, no people, nothing except my spirit. Anyways, I hope this makes sense to you. And as I said, if I left the impression that, you know, like I'm holier than thou, that you shouldn't do that, no. I've partaken of that, of entheogens. I've partaken of LSD in my life. I've done lots of things. And they were eye-opening, to say the least. But they pale, absolutely pale. I mean, words cannot describe how they pale in comparison to the real thing, like Buddha had, like Jesus had, like Krishna had. They pale in comparison. But they are critically necessary most of the time to, so to say, slap the physical body upside the head to wake it up and go, there's more to reality than what you see. And of course, when you take those kind of products, you cannot control what takes place next. And then you realize you escaped this physical reality and you don't know what to make of it. It's just, wow, what the hell happened? So yeah, it's a good thing to do that. But as I said, and I don't know how, I just want to drive it home to anyone that sees this. If you have a predisposed disposition on what you have been taught about reality, and it hasn't come directly vertical from the Creator, that you actually got it in a book or you listened to someone else tell you this, that, or whatever, then all that entheogen is going to do is nothing. It's just going to convince you more further of what you've been brainwashed to believe is true. But it isn't. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.